All right, great. So hello, everybody. Many known faces around. Thank you, Julia, for the introduction. I would like to share with you some ideas about how I see the world of infrastructure in the future. I work for a company, Sathir, whose corporate mission is to build a better world, to improve the quality of life of citizens through large, innovative, and complex infrastructure projects. And when we talk about infrastructure, we mean transportation and mobility, we mean water treatment, we mean waste management, and we also mean the industrial world and everything that has to do with energy infrastructure. Even if the title of my presentation mentions the word future, I want to start my speech looking backwards, talking about the past. And the message here is that throughout history, our ancestors have been struggling with war, with disease, and with famine. So we can now say that we are, as human beings, in the best moment of history. And I'm going to tell you why I think this. So every year, nowadays, around 50 million people die each year for a number of causes, different causes. The most common cause nowadays is just old age. But the deaths related to war or to violence, to crime, just amount to 1% of the total. This was not like this in the past. Prior to the 19th century, around 15% of the total number of deaths were related to violence and crime. And you know why is this? I have a very simple explanation for this decrease in the number of deaths caused by violence from 15% to 1%. My explanation is that in the past, the economy, the wealth, was based mainly on physical assets: money, land, houses, castles, crops, harvest, etc., oil fields. And it was a pretty successful strategy in order to conquer all these assets, to kill the opponent and to take those assets from him. That happened in the past. But now we are in a world, in an era of where the economy and the wealth is based on knowledge. And it makes clearly nonsense to kill the opponent in order to extract the knowledge from him. In terms of famine, of hunger, in the past, a bad crop, a bad harvest could kill 30 or 40% of the population in a specific region of the world. And now we can see that more people is dying from eating too much, from obesity, than from eating too little, from starvation. And this is because we, as human beings, we have created the methods, the food international trade markets, the transportation methods, the international social care organizations that are able to distribute the food where it's needed and when it's needed. It's true that this solution is not perfect and that we frequently hear very sad news about hunger in the world and also about wars, but from a statistical point of view, the situation in which we are is much better than it used to be. And when it comes to disease, illness, and plagues, epidemics, etc., it's true that medical research has developed so much that we no longer find episodes like the Black Death, the Peste Negra in Spanish, that killed 40% of European population in just some years. So now the question in terms of health is no longer related to this past, but is more related to eternity. Many researchers, some of them linked to the Singularity University, are thinking that we can stop the process of aging in our bodies. so that we never die. So all these I'm telling you could look like a fairy tale, a very nice story about maybe a Little Red Riding Hood, a young lady that is happy to wander around the forest and who wants to visit her grandma that, of course, will never die if we follow what I mentioned just before. But we also think that Little Red Riding Hood can find the wolf anywhere, anytime. And the wolf, for us, is the challenges we face as a human society. And we really think that many of those challenges are related to infrastructure. And I'm going to tell you why. If we never die, and if we concentrate more and more in large cities, we may have a nightmare in terms of mobility. This is the M30 in Madrid not a long time ago, and you know, traffic jams, congestion, driving accidents, pollution. This is a huge problem nowadays, and it can become bigger and bigger if we continue ignoring this population concentration effect that we are experiencing. When it comes to water, we see many problems related to scarcity. Experts in the market say that we can expect 40% increase in demand of water in the next 10 years. This goes together with the water stress and water scarcity problems that are having many areas of the world, and not just in the emerging world. We have seen California with water stress recently. And on top of this, many developing countries have taxes or rates of treatment of water and wastewater around below 90%. This is really a big problem. In terms of waste, the ideal solution would be to have a totally circular economy, where 100% of the production is somehow recovered and reused continuously and not generating waste. But reality is that most countries in the world have a rate of recycling, of recovery of products below 30%. This is the case, for example, in Spain. We are at 29%. So the situation is really alarming. When it comes to the industrial world and the use of sources of energy, the scientists are pointing out the damages we can have related to climate change. The increase of level of the sea, we have all heard many news about this. Can you go ahead? So Red Riding Hood of the 21st century can transform into Greta Thunberg. You may know this Swedish girl. She is right now criticizing politicians a lot, and because their lack of action towards all these type of challenges. And Greta might be a symbol. You may like it or not, but in any case, social process is spreading everywhere in different geographies, in different type of cultural environment. So the risk of all this is to have a future like the beginning of the film Wall-E. I don't know if you know this film, but the situation in this film is that on the surface of the world there is just one robot and plenty of rabbits. No humans around, and of course, no animals around. So this is like end of the story. This is like the wolf eating the grandma of Red Riding Hood, and we don't really want this. We want to continue having a successful life. And there are, independently on whether the politicians take action or not, we believe that there are many interesting and futuristic solutions being taken by different agents in the market that really tackle the issues I have just mentioned. Hyperloop, for example, is thinking about a new mobility solution based on high speed with low consumption of energy, really, really cheap. Other players are thinking about taxi drones. Different agents are also working on the autonomous vehicle, on the electric vehicle. There are also some agents that are exploding the clouds in order to get rain and to solve the water scarcity problem. We are in Sacyr very curious about all these developments. We are following them. We are working on some of them. And we don't really know where they will take us as a society. But in any case, we think that in addition to these long-term futuristic solutions, we have to find shorter-term projects. We have to find the hunter of Red Riding Hood who saves the grandma from the belly of the wolf. And this, in our opinion, is related to short-term projects. And we are currently running a number of them. Let me just give you some examples. In order to increase the capacity of the world for water desalination in case of water scarcity, we are working on digital twins. We run water desalination plants. We are creating a virtual reality, a virtual reproduction of these plants, and we are being able of operating these plants remotely, more efficiently, with virtual reality. This is just an example, but we have many. In terms of, for example, water waste treatment, we are recovering the tires from the cars, the wheels of the cars, and we are producing several types of powders that can be additives in other industrial processes. We're using this a lot for asphalt in roads, but there are many different types of uses. We are also working on projects for the recycling of textile. Textile is a huge problem. In the waste treatment plants that we own, we receive around 10% of the total waste received is textile, which goes nowhere, and we have to do something about it, and we are also investigating second uses for all this. We have many projects. I don't want to go into the detail. We are running out of time. In any case, all these projects are collaborative. We really want to partner with external agents in order to solve these issues, and that's why we launched Sacyr iChallenges. This is an open innovation program totally focused on solving these issues together with you, with entrepreneurs. So if you're an entrepreneur, you want to build a better world, please come along with us, have conversations with us, and let's join forces. The idea is to get rid of the big bad wolf, and I think we can all make it together. Thank you very much.